Hello, hello, hello. How are you? This is Alice Company from Bemis Crafty Corner, and today we're going to be doing this. This is part of the ongoing things you can shove in a journal. So I came up with this little guy, and it's got 3 pockets on the inside where you can put tags and things, and then you can put a tag or a tuck, a pocket or a tuck over here. And you could actually add another one on the front if you want to. You could put one on the back. Entirely up to you. But this is my project for today. And I'm going to go ahead and get out some supplies, and I'll be right back and we'll get started. Let's take a look at some tools. We're going to need the basics. Paper trimmer, and some ink and a dauber, and adhesive. Pair of scissors, scoring tools, and a scoreboard. If you don't have those, you can just use a ruler, and it can be done. Some paper to decorate, and some cardstock for the base. You can use file folder for this, but I do recommend that you use cardstock just to reduce bulk. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get some stuff out of the way, and when I come back, we're going to do all of our cutting, and then we'll hit our scoring. All right, I'll be right back. All right, so we're going to take our base piece, and we are going to cut this 7 by 9. So 7 by 9. And that's our base. And then we're going to cut some decorator paper. Okay? And we're going to be cutting 3 pockets, 3 backs, and then 2 for the front. Okay, so the first ones we're going to be cutting are the pocket pieces. So let's take a look at our paper and decide what we want to use. Now this is a small thing, so I want small print. We have these bees, that would be cute. That and the bees would be cute for the inside. And what are we going to do on the outside? That's a question, isn't it? Let's see. I don't know. That's kind of a big print. I don't know. I think we'll use this. We can work this. This one or this one. Let's do this one. All right. So for our little pockets here, which we're going to make out of our bee paper, I think. Yeah, bee paper. I'm going to go ahead and take this part off, because we don't need that. All right, so we're going to be cutting 3 pieces that are 2 3/4 by 2 inches. So 2 inches. And these I could actually cut on the smaller cutter. 2 3/4 and 2 3/4. Need one more of those, so another 2 inches. Mindful of direction. And then 2 3/4. So these are our pocket pieces. We're going to set those to the side. The next thing we're going to be cutting are these back pieces, and these are 2 3/4 by 4. Okay. And they need to be 4 tall, and this kind of goes this way. So let's do this at 4, and then 2 3/4, which is our width. Okay, so that is our back pieces. And now what we need to do is cut these pieces. And this whole thing is 3 3/4 inches tall, 4 3/4 inches tall. So we're going to cut these at about 4.5 by 2 3/4. So 4.5, 2 3/4. Trying to decide which part of the paper I like. Okay, so now we have those all cut. So that's all of our pieces. I'm going to get this out of the way and we'll go ahead and get started on the scoring. I'll be right back. All right, so we're going to score this on the long side at 3. Go easy here. And again at 6. And then we're going to turn it to the short side. Okay. And this is where we're going to create our pockets. So we're going to go ahead and score this. Right here at 2 1/4. All right. That's it. I'm going to get rid of the scoreboard, and when I come back we're going to do some folding, a little hand cutting, and then we're going to get started on putting this together. I'll be right back. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to do some burnishing now. We're going to fold this up. Make sure that we get our edges nicely lined up. Hills into valleys, valleys into hills. We know the deal, right? Okay. Okay, so now once we have that, we're going to cut out these score lines. So we're just going to cut down one side of it. And then the other side of it. And then we'll bring it to the back and snip it off. Okay, so So we're going to take both of them out. Just on the small side. Okay. Come here, you little booger. Alright, so we're going to take out both of the score lines. That's it. We're just cutting out the score lines, okay? Now, make sure that your piece folds. And if it does not, then go ahead and just give it a little shave on one side. Alright. So now we have our piece. We are going to ink. We're going to ink all the way around. In here. Same thing on the outside. We're going to ink the edges of our pockets. And then we're going to ink the edges of all of our cover pieces, okay? So go ahead and ink, and then when we come back, we'll start assembly. I'll be right back. Okay. So the next part is going to be to affix our pieces. And we're going to start with the pockets. Now, if you want to use tape on this, you can. This is not a weight-bearing area. So you can use tape here to put this stuff on if you want to. That's entirely up to you. I like glue because, well, I live in the desert, and if I don't use glue, if it gets warm, it tends to melt. And that's no fun for anyone. Okay, so I'm going to get the last one on here. Alright, so now we're going to put the back pieces in, and that's these guys right here. And I did these so that they don't go all the way to the bottom. So we're just really worried about lining them up at the tops and on the sides. Excuse me. So I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on this. And then I'm going to put this on here. And now I'm going to use this as a guide for the rest of my pieces. The last one on. And then yeah. All right, so now I have that down, and now we can close our pockets. So if you want to put finger pulls in these, now would be a good time to do that. You don't need them, but you may want them. You know, it is a look. And that one. There we go. Those look fairly even. Now, a little bit of glue on each edge, and we're going to put these pockets down. Now, why did we cut out the score line if we were just going to glue these down? Well, because we didn't want the bulk. That's 1, 2, And we'll get number 3 down. And then we'll give them a little press with the bone folder. Alright, so now we're going to let those dry. We're going to turn this over, and then we're going to do our second 2 pieces, which go this way. Okay? One. This one's going to be number 2. Okay. So now we're going to let this dry. And when we come back, we're going to work on some tags and things for the inside, as well as adding a slash pocket or something here, okay? So I'll be back in just a minute. Alright, so I've cut 3 pieces of leftover cardstock, and as you can see, they fit in here nicely. And so these are 2 1/4 by 4 1/2, and then I have the leftover from the pockets. We'll be using that, and then I have a little bit of this leftover, and I have another piece of scrap. And so what I'm going to do is, with this, I'm going to go ahead and ink it, and I'm going to let this dictate basically how big my slash is going to be. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue this on to this piece of cardstock. And I'm going to give myself about 1/8 of an inch on 2 sides. And then I'll do the same up here. So let me get out my trimmer real quick. And let me just cut this down to about 1/8 of an inch. Give or take. A little bit more right there. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come across this. Just like that. It just gives me a little bit of a slash. Okay? So this is going to go right there. So glue on 2 sides. I'm going to go ahead and glue this on right there. And I'm going to put a couple of clamps on this. Alright, so now that that is glued on and it is clamped in place, I'm going to set that to the side, and we're going to bring our attention over to these. Alright, so I have this, and I thought it would be cute if I put it on the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut a strip of this that's 2 1/4 inches. And then I'm going to cut like 1 1/4 inch pieces off of here. 1 1/4, 1 1/2. It is entirely up to you. You could do this, you know, you could wing it. Okay, so now I have those, and all I'm going to do is fold them in half. You can do this on a scoreboard if you feel like you need to, or you can just do it by hand. Okay. This is a very lightweight cardstock, so it's kind of easy to fold. 2 and number 3. All right. So now that I have that, I'm going to glue that onto the top of each one of these. And I'm going to let those dry. When I come back, we'll finish these and we'll get everything put together. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have out my little octagon here. This just helps me get my angle. So I'm just going to go ahead and center that right there. Make sure I got it straight. And then I'm just going to use it to trim these off. And then I can use these as a guide for the others. Usually I would use my jig, but I don't have a jig for a 2 1/4. I looked. All right. Here and there. All right. So now that I have those all done, I'm going to ink my tops here. And I'm going to go ahead and get ready to pop some holes and put some eyelets into these. And we're going to check this out, make sure that it's very good. Okay, so I'm going to get out some eyelets and my pliers, and we're going to be, I'm going to get out some supplies. We're going to make a little journaling card to go in here. I'll be right back. So, I want to round all my corners here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then I need to punch some holes through here. And then we'll set some eyelets. Boy, that one popped in, didn't it? All right, so now I have all 3 of those, and we're going to make that little journaling card to put in here as well. This little piece of paper is driving me crazy. So what I have here is a piece of the cardstock, and it is 4 by 2 1/2, and then I have paper for the front, which is 2 3/4 by 3 1/4, and a piece for the back, same measurements, 2 3/4 by 3 1/4. And I'm going to go ahead and round all the corners on this. And this. ink. Hey, you know, a little ink never hurt anybody, right? Inky dinky doo, inky dinky, inky dinky doo. I get away with that because it's called sampling. It's less than 17 seconds. All right. So we have that. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. We're going to go ahead and glue this down. Again, you could tape this if you want to. And don't forget, all the measurements for this project are going to be in the description box below. All right, back paper, front paper. We're using this really pretty paper, so we don't need to do a lot of decorating on this other than, you know, what the paper's giving us. It's kind of cool. All right, so now we have 3 tags, a pocket, and a journaling card. Here we go. One tag, 2 tags, 3 tags, nice little journaling card, and that's it. You tuck it in to a pocket somewhere in your journal. Now, if you want to, you could put a rubber band on this, or some lace, or some, you know, a tie or something. But if you're going to put this into a pocket, it doesn't really need to be tied up. But you have lots of journaling space here in a minimal amount of area, okay? That's it. That's my project for today. If you're new here and you haven't done so already, hit the button for me and subscribe. Like me, ring my bell, share me with all your friends. Check out my community tab. That's going to tell you everything that's going on in my digital world. And if I'm traveling, where I'm traveling, when I'm traveling, all of that type of stuff. And you can also go over to my Facebook group. There's a link in the description box below. We got all kinds of stuff going on over there. And we would love to have you join us. Until I see you again, stay well, my friends. Bye-bye.